What's going on, world? Thank you for watching and listening to another episode of Insightful Principles. In today's content, what I really want to talk about is inflation. We recently seen the new reports in May of 2022 was released last Friday, June 10th. We got a chance to see the new numbers, and it wasn't, the best outlook as far as, they came out a lot higher than what most people expected. It was at actually 8.6%, and this was the highest increase since December of 1981. So it really goes to show that, we still are in high inflationary times, and it's going to be here to stay. It doesn't look like it's going to be going down anytime soon. But one thing to also just keep a positive outlook on is that, there is going to be some reduction of people really going out and spending their money, because we are seeing that prices are starting to go up. So that potentially could cause people to not spend as much and to be more cognizant of how they're spending their money. But in this video, I really wanted to go into details on just breaking down what were some of the highest increases within the CPI, what led it to get to the 8.6%. We also have a Fed meeting coming this week, as well as the producer price index is going to be coming out this week as well. So I wanted to kind of just give you all some things to focus and to look towards for this week, and just kind of breaking down the CPI and how that's really playing a prevalent role within the markets. But if you all can do me a huge favor, if you could like, subscribe, and share this video, and don't forget to hit the notification bell below so you can be notified every week when I drop content. So as far as the CPI, the three main areas that caused the increase was food, housing, and gas. Those were some of the three main areas that has seen significant increases. Now, as far as in April of this year, CPI was at 8.3%. And I did my last video, I kind of broke down, what we have done over the last 6 months with CPI, with the consumer price index. And so far, with the numbers being printed at 8.6% for May, this is our highest that we've seen, not just since 1981, but so far this year in 2022. And with the food prices, we had seen the increase of 10.1%. And a lot of this was increases that we seen across the board from meats, poultry, fish, and eggs. That rose altogether 14.2% year over year. Gasoline was at 48.7% year over year. We had used cars was 16.1%. Airline fares was 12.6%, and we had shelter at 5.5%. So as you can kind of see in all of those different categories, we've seen rapid increases, and it's no surprise. Even as have been going to the grocery store in these previous months and getting gas, we're seeing increases across, regular gas all the way to premium. I think regular gas is somewhere around $5 a gallon when you look at, according to sources with AAA. And then also, as far as groceries, just noticing vegetables and fruits going up, a lot of different meats, whether you're looking at fish or anything, as far as steak, everything is really going up. The CPI here pretty much shows, with food, where we're looking at, like I mentioned, 10.1%. But then as you look at food at home, 11.9%. So I remember the last video I talked about how food away from home was way higher than food at home. And now in this situation, it's almost a reverse. Food at home is costing more than food away from home. So you can kind of see those increases. Energy seems like it took a significant chunk of just the increase that we've seen year over year with CPI. You look at gasoline, like I mentioned, the 50.3%, fuel oil 48.7. It's really just shocking when you think about, when you look at energy, commodities, you look at food, and even when you look at used cars and trucks being at 16.1%, That's actually a lot higher than new vehicles. So that just shows that we're just seeing a very rapid increase of a lot of things within the economy, and it just kind of has to you want to keep your eyes open towards how this is impacting not only the economy but what the Fed is going to have to do, because the Fed meeting, like I mentioned, is actually going to be June 15th of this week. And what they're really going to have to talk about is these issues that we're having with CPI. And that's part of the Fed's mandate, is they have to do everything they can to get inflation down. So this report is really going to show, how are they going to react to this? And I don't move proactively, they move reactively. So with these numbers coming out like this, I'm kind of assuming that they're going to have to continue to keep increasing interest rates as the year goes along, even into early 2023, to really get a grasp of what is happening with just the cost of prices going up everywhere throughout the economy in the U.S. And I think that it's unfortunate that they didn't start doing this a lot earlier. Inflation probably wouldn't be as high as it is now had they start doing rate hikes more of, in the fall of 2021. But they didn't start the rate hikes until this year. So we're starting to see that they're very reactionary. We'll see what Powell has to say on Wednesday. I'm very interested to see if he's going to really take some corrective actions. But I definitely think that a 75 basis point rate hike, I don't see that off the table. I know that they said in the last Fed meeting that they didn't want to do a 75 basis point rate hike. But they're almost going to end up forcing themselves in that situation, because the 50% basis point rate hike that they're doing currently now, we had a little drop down in CPI for April, but we're seeing that we're right back at, those March 2022 CPI levels of when that was at 8.5. So I don't think that, the 75 basis points is going to be off the table. But another thing here that I want to show you all is the consumer confidence index. This index just really measures, how the confidence of people in the economy, how they feel right now, as far as, the confidence that they have in the economy. And then just also when you think about when it comes to their spending habits, they really are using this index to measure the sentiment of how consumers are reacting to different changes that we're seeing with inflation, how confident the consumer feels when it comes to their money. And as we can see, pretty much these shaded areas are when we had, recessions. 2020, that was more of like a pandemic. That technically really wasn't a recession. But when we had the Great Recession in 08, 09, the consumer confidence index was all the way at almost about 20%. Right now, we're sitting at, and it says it here, it shows that, the index now stands at 106.4, down from 108.6% in April. So we're still over 100%. Which, people are, it has went down, so people are feeling less confident, but we're not nearly at those levels as far as even as of recent 2020 when we had the health pandemic. It was somewhere around, close to 80%. So we're dwindling down to that point. We're not quite there yet. But that's one thing that I just wanted to highlight, because, the consumer confidence index, it also really just shows people how they feel about their income stability. So this has a direct correlation of their spending activity. So when the index is high, which we can kind of see now is still fairly high, it indicates economic growth and higher consumption in society. But I think what we're seeing with inflation, how price increases are happening across so many different categories, whether it's food, housing, and gas, shelter, used car vehicles, airline fares. We're going to see most likely the consumer confidence index start to go down throughout the year, because people are going to stop spending as much. Consumption is going to go down. And I think that can also have an impact on bringing inflation down, because inflation is really price increases when we see that there's a lot of economic growth, people are out spending their money, that cause just demand to become higher, and you just see that direct correlation of inflation going up. But I think this is going to kind of keep everybody being very aware of how much they're spending at the grocery store. You know, as far as gas, a lot of people, some people are commuting, but you also have people working from home. So a lot of the people that are working from home, like myself, are, you know, not going out as much, even if it's just to drive around, to do certain things, really scaling back and saying, like, you know what, things are pretty, you know, expensive at the moment, and it's important to kind of not do as much. But some things to look for, you know, for this week, like I mentioned, we have that Fed meeting coming Wednesday, June 15th. Also, the producer price index is going to be released tomorrow, June 14th. So that's going to be very important to pay attention to and to keep your eyes on. That pretty much wraps it up, everyone, for this video. Just wanted to give you all a recap on what's going on with inflation with the newest reports that we got for May 2022. As always, if you can continue to like, subscribe, and share this video, don't forget to hit the notification bell below so you can be notified every week when I drop content, and take care.